Pittsburgh Steelers guard Isaac Seumalo suffered a pectoral strain against the Green Bay Packers, head coach Mike Tomlin said. Seumalo suffered a pec strain last year before the season started, forcing him to miss 3 games. Without him in there, it will be Spencer Anderson starting in his place. Anderson has been the team's jumbo tight end over the last few games to great success. It has been their identity, and the Steelers have leaned into it. Yet, without him out there, the Steelers scrapped the jumbo package, instead moving into their base offense for the rest of the game. Seumalo tried to tough it out and returned to the game before pulling himself after the first drive of the second half, and he was ruled out for the rest of the game. Now, it is unknown just how long he will miss. The Steelers' offensive line has been remarkably healthy for most of the season, with all the starters playing in each game, but Seumalo is likely to miss some time with the injury, which will change what the Steelers can do up front. After Seumalo exited the game, the Steelers ran the ball just 3 times as they played from behind against the Packers, who jumped out to a big lead. Week 8's Sunday Night Football matchup featured a classic matchup between a mentor and his former protege. Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers visited Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. This game marked the first time that Rodgers faced the Packers since being traded from the team in 2022. During his time in Green Bay, Love got the chance to learn under Rodgers. Now, Love put all that he learned to good use, helping lead the Packers to a 35-25 win over the Steelers. After the game, the two quarterbacks shared some love and met midfield to congratulate each other. For nearly 2 decades, Aaron Rodgers was the face of the Packers. He won multiple MVPs while in Green Bay and helped lead them to a Super Bowl win. He was one of the best quarterbacks of his generation. However, as he started to get older, his status on the team started to be questioned. In preparation for Rodgers' retirement or departure, the Packers drafted Jordan Love in the first round of the 2020 draft. There was some drama at first, as Love's arrival seemed to directly challenge Rodgers' presence on the team. However, Rodgers remained the starting quarterback of the Packers, continuing to lead them to success in 2020 and 2021. Love, meanwhile, learned under Rodgers and learning Matt LaFleur's system behind the scenes. When Rodgers eventually left the Packers in 2022, Love took over as the starting quarterback of the Packers. While he had a rough start to his first full season as the QB1, Love grew into one of the best young quarterbacks in the league. As for Rodgers, he had a murky stint in New York marred by an Achilles tear in year 1 before joining the Steelers this season. Rodgers is having a renaissance of sorts in Pittsburgh after a subpar 2024 campaign. In their first matchup against each other, Love got the best of Rodgers. Love finished the game with an absurd 29 completions on 37 attempts for 360 yards and 3 touchdowns. Rodgers, on the other hand, had a modest 219 yards, completing 24 of his 36 attempts and throwing 2 touchdowns. The Green Bay Packers and Pittsburgh Steelers battled it out on Sunday Night Football in a highly anticipated matchup because of each team's respective quarterbacks. Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers, the Packers' longtime signal caller, faced off against his former team and their current franchise quarterback Jordan Love, the player who replaced Rodgers after 18 years, in a contest that had been on everyone's radar ever since Rodgers agreed to sign with the Steelers in June. Love has been Green Bay's full-time starting QB since 2023. He was drafted 26th overall back in 2020 to be Rodgers' heir apparent. On Sunday, the Steelers fell to the Packers 35-25, and after the game, Rodgers shouted out Packers fans for traveling all the way to Pittsburgh for the matchup. "I've heard that chant for 18 years, he said. "Packers fans travel really well. First time in a while I've used silent count for a home game. It's a credit to those Packers fans." He also gave props to Love for his performance. He completed 29 of 37 passes for 360 yards and 3 touchdowns. "I thought J. Love played great," Rodgers said. "He was super efficient. He didn't get sacked, moved around really well, made some plays outside the pocket. Thought he played outstanding." The two-star passers shared a post-game embrace that had fans buzzing on social media. In the clip, Love is heard saying, "Good game, brother," before adding, "Love you, brother." "Good luck the rest of the season, man," Rodgers adds, to which Love says, "Need that too." The post got people talking. "I think Aaron might go ahead and hang it up after this year," one follower said on X. "He has said that when he does his time in the spotlight will be over and he will just disappear. He had no plans for being an announcer or anything of that sort." Packers were so extremely lucky with the QB situation for the last 30 years, unbelievable. "Really good for them," another added. "What other team has been so lucky to have 3 great future Hoffers back to back to back?" another added. Before the game, Love also talked about the brotherhood that he shares with Rodgers. "Coming into it, obviously, I never knew what to expect, but Aaron was great to me all 3 years," Love said, according to Matt Schneidman of The Athletic. "We shoot each other a text every now and then. A lot of it is just saying good luck throughout the season. Arod texted me and was talking about some of the plays we'd run and some of my footwork, things like that, complimenting me, so obviously it's great to be able to hear from him." Through 3/4 of their Week 8 matchup against the Green Bay Packers, the Pittsburgh Steelers looked on their way to victory. But for the fourth quarter told an entirely different story. The Packers outscored the Steelers 21-6, stealing a 35-25 victory. For Pittsburgh, it marked a historic downfall. It's the first time the Steelers have lost a game by 10+ after holding a lead entering the fourth quarter since 1996 against the Houston Oilers. Furthermore, it was the first time the Steelers have lost a game under those parameters at home since 1985, via Brooke Pryor of ESPN. Pittsburgh opened the final quarter with a 19-14 advantage. But on Green Bay's first drive, Josh Jacobs ran for a 3-yard touchdown before the Packers converted a 2-point attempt. After a punt by the Steelers, Jordan Love found Tucker Kraft for a 24-yard touchdown to take a 29-19 advantage. Pittsburgh's next 2 drives resulted in a punt and a fumble, while Green Bay recorded a pair of field goals. Aaron Rodgers did find Roman Wilson for a 21-yard touchdown pass on the Steelers' final drive of the game, but it was too little too late. For all the questions surrounding how Rodgers and the new-look offense would fare, but Pittsburgh's defense truly struggled against Green Bay, especially in the fourth quarter. The Steelers let up 454 yards total, with 360 of them and 3 touchdowns coming from the arm of Love. Now 4-3. Pittsburgh must regroup and find a way to bounce back from their disaster finish. They'll look to play a more complete game in Week 9 against the Indianapolis Colts. The Las Vegas Raiders are willing to keep wide receiver Jakobi Meyers if they do not get compensation they feel is worth their time, which means the Pittsburgh Steelers will have to pay what the Raiders believe he is worth to acquire him, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. The Steelers, along with the Bills and Broncos, are in the market for Meyers, whose cost would seem to be at least for a 4th-round pick, which is what the Raiders would likely get for him in a compensatory pick if he walked in free agency. Meyers is a free agent after the season, but the Raiders aren't exactly looking to automatically trade Meyers, according to sources, and are willing to carry him on their roster until his contract expires after the season, Schefter wrote. Meyers requested a trade out of the organization in August, but that has not come to fruition for the talented wide receiver. Instead, he has continued playing but reiterated on Tuesday that he would welcome a trade. "I got no control over that. If I'm here, I'm here. Oh, for sure," Meyers said when asked if he still wanted traded. "But I'm a professional at the end of the day. I'm just trying to play good football." Meyers is still battling multiple injuries, too. He has a knee and toe injury that forced him to miss the Raiders' last game against the Kansas City Chiefs. He had 87 receptions for 1,027 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns in 15 games despite the quarterback chaos that occurred around him during 2024. That was a career season for Meyers, who shone with the Raiders and New England Patriots over his career.